of Phoenix. We get together every week, and we do this religiously over the last 8 years since we've been around, and it's been quite the journey for sure. We've had members almost since the beginning. I know Mike was there at pretty much at the beginning. Norm came along after. Steve came along after that, and this is one of the reasons why we get together is if we can help or support each other in some way, whether it be business, personal, whatever it is, this is what we do. And it's been an absolute privilege to know a lot of you people. You're just good people, and I love doing this. I do it for the members, and I do it for the people that I love so much. And it's great to see people progress and prosper through their business, but also there's a lot of personal growth in that, and it's so great to be able to see that from the beginning. We had something to do with it, even in a small way. Is really been an honor to do that. So we'll. Some of the stats that we've had, looking over some of the things, it's been quite an amazing thing. First of all, our referrals this year is 297 referrals this year, which has been great. It's generated about $107,000 in revenue so far, and we're just over halfway, and we do about 225,000 for the year, so we're right on spot for that. But the BAMs was 296. 297 referrals, 296 BAMs. And so that got me to thinking, I'd like to do a challenge for the next couple of weeks at least. That I want you to do as many BAMs as you can. A BAM, for those that are watching on Facebook Live or LinkedIn or on our YouTube channel, a BAM is when two of our members get together and they just chat. They talk about business, they talk about their family life. It's just more or less a meeting so we can get to know each other a little better. That way, if you're doing other things, like if you're also a painter and you're also a wood burning specialist and you do dancing, you do officiant, all these things that isn't the category when we have the meeting, that's when you can bring those things up. And I always like to sort of look at those things to see what other hobbies and what other things that people are involved in. And so that happens for maybe an hour, a couple of hours. In my case, I'll probably sample somebody to do a tuning session or something in my world. But it's when we get together, and that's what that is. But it's amazing because that has nothing to do with being getting a referral. But indirectly, the energy when you meet somebody, you always get something back. And a lot of times it might not even be related to Phoenix. It might be that a client, a long-standing client, finally got a hold of you, or another member is now doing business with you. So my challenge is to do as many BAMs as possible. We want to see if there is any real validity in if I do more BAMs, because we have control over whether we schedule a BAM or not. We don't have so much control over getting a referral, right? That's sort of out in the universe. So do as many BAMs as you can if your sales are down, and let's see if you start connecting to more people. And it may not be related to the person that you talk to. We want to see if there's any real validity in this, because the numbers don't lie. Every single week we go through this, and the BAMs and the referrals are the same. So that would mean that if you do a BAM, closely after a referral comes in. Let's see if that is really the case, okay? So if you don't have much time doing a BAM because you figure, business is really an important thing, look at it in a different way. It says, if I want more business, let's do a BAM. Let's do it in reverse, and let's see if that has any kind of weight to it, okay? So over the next couple of weeks, if you normally do one a month or one every couple of weeks, try and do a couple every week or more. I try and do about 3 to 4 BAMs a week, and that's just talking to people. I'll reach out to somebody that I haven't been with or haven't heard back from, and maybe some news that I've heard that someone in their family got married, or there's an event that I find out on Facebook. So I'll talk with them just like that, and that would be a BAM. And soon after, I would get a referral from someone else. So it works for me. So let's see if that works for you. That's the important thing. E-cards, we're at 5,226. And this is all of the things that we do with our e-cards. Now, I understand in some cases the e-cards is hard for some people to get their head wrapped around. As I've had that. Oh, by the way, we are having a member of the week is Norm Boyer. He's been featured for this week, and if you want to know more about him, there's the video, and his e-card is attached. And we are sort of showcasing him for this week, as we do every member for each week. And let's see, we've got a couple of special events. Of course, I have my meditation every Friday. This one's at this Friday at 1:30. Penny Lee has her dancing. There's her classes. The Bell's Corners group, we just had our get together this Monday. The South group is meeting next week at the River Lounge. So this group will be next week at the River Lounge in person. Zoom will not be on because we want to meet people, okay? So if you have any guests and you have any businesses that want to find out more about networking, just bring them along. We pay for their breakfast, sort of thing. So that way there's no risk, there's no obligation or anything. But we want to just be able to expand our the people that we can do business with. I'm still getting calls on general contracting for those that know anybody. It's such a great category because anything that Norm can't do, Norm can just hand it off to this person. I mean, they would be able to pay the entire year's dues in one job. And I've had several requests for overhaul and house additions and stuff like that. I don't really know what to do with a referral that if I'm not giving it to Phoenix. I'm so attached to this group. I'd like to have somebody in the group that I could give this business to. A lawyer's another one. We're getting a lot of calls for lawyers. Well, a lot. Even if you get one a month is a lot because it's there's usually something at stake and someone needs help. All right, so if you know anybody like that, bring them on for next week, and we'll see if we can get them in the program, and that there are different things that we can offer. If you're still looking at playing golf on August the 1st, if you're looking at that, there's the link for that. If you still want to sponsor, there's the link for that, okay, in the on the main page. And again, if you have a visitor that is a Zoom thing, have them come in to this, and then they could just press these red buttons that whatever group that they are going to go to. They're all the same in terms of the Zoom link, but it's embedded. That way you don't have to remember any numbers, and it's very easy that way, okay? So that is the update for today. Because we're in a new month, I need your figures. If you've done business with anybody, I don't need to know all the details, just how much business that you have spent in for one of our Phoenix members so we can keep track. It's part of the measurement that we do. And let's see. Yeah, that's basically it. So let's turn it over to Norm. Norm, you have some words of wisdom.
Yeah. How many people have iPhones? Okay. How many people use notes?
Yes.
So do
Yes.
you use Siri to take your note?
Yes.
Yes. So the thing is, we get inspired to do something, or we got some information, and then you got to get a reminder for that information. For instance, I just turned my mute on, and I said, Siri, take a note. Do more BAMs. She just did it again. She thought I was talking to her, right? And so, and then the River Lounge, I said, Siri, make a note. Next meeting is at the River Lounge. So it's those reminders that you keep putting there. And then if somebody wants to do a BAM, I'll show you how to categorize your notes on the iPad so that, for instance, you're in the kitchen and you open the fridge and, Siri, take a note, buy more milk. Or doing some, Siri, take a note, buy this. She's taking notes right now because she heard me. So then you can categorize what you need to do so that you do, when you go to the grocery store, you have that list of things that need to be done, right? If it's something that you need to do business-wise, somebody you need to call, it can be under a category to call. So the short thing is, there's an excuse to do for BAM with me. I'm a Apple nut. We have 17 Apple devices on our compound. So if anybody wants some information on Apple products, talk to me, do the BAM, and I'll educate you further than just you should use your notes and how to maximize the use of your notes and Siri. Right? So that's it. Remember, and if you don't have an Apple, I think the Android things have some sort of program equivalent to it. I can't guide you that. Okay. Have a good day.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Norm. Really appreciate that. You know, when you're on the road as much as Norm is, you use your car a lot, as Eric is, and many of us that are on the road. You know, and my Mike would say, you know, try not to even look at the phone or anything, but that would be a good feature. Just be able to say it out loud, and it takes a note while you're driving, and that way you don't have to look down or anything. And so thank you for that, Norm. That's great.
Yeah, I have CarPlay, so I don't know how many of you have CarPlay.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
can just press a button on the steering wheel, say, Siri, take a note, and give the note without
Yeah.
having very little distraction.
I think it's totally voice activated because I've done
Yeah,
that
it's
and
totally
I didn't have to press
voice
anything.
activated. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's voice. So it looks like Penny Lee is outside looking at the stars or the clouds anyway. So I guess she's going to have a moment there outside. So let's get right into our introductions. Okay, let's talk to. And I know for those that are watching, be sure to stay on. And Eric is going to be talking about the real estate market and that industry and how it's massively changed even over the last few months. So you're going to get the scoop on that. Just stand by. So if we can start off with Norm, and I think yeah, go ahead, Norm. You're up.
Boy, oh boys, our tagline is we fix your home and honeydew list, we get it done, window and door repairs. But what's happening now because of the internet, I get information before I go to the job site. Right? Like I had a guy call me, he wanted a window repaired, and it's a ways out, right? So I told them to give me some information, give me some information so that I can, when I go there, I don't have to drive for 3/4 of an hour and find out that I got to go back and get parts. So you got to learn how to change your business model. And then I had another one, it was a referral. And he showed me that he had some rotting trim. And I said, it's a service call 350. And he said, does that include repairs? No, I have to look at the patient. So what's happening, he's thinking that he's going to get somebody to replace his trim. He's got some major damage in his wall based on the picture that I looked at, right? And so he said, oh, I'm going to look for somebody cheaper. Well, fine, you can look at somebody cheaper, but they don't have a thermography camera. So when you have damage in water damage, two things have to happen. You have to find the source of the water damage, stop it, and then you have to find out how much the wall has been damaged or the building has been damaged because of the water coming in. Because if your trim is damaged and your drywall is damaged, that's not minor surgery, that's major surgery. And this guy kind of didn't get it, but I don't compromise my standards. If he says, well, I'm looking for somebody cheaper, I don't do cheaper. I do it right. If I can't do it right, I walk away. Right? And there's cases where the customer says, I want you to do it like that. And I said, fine, as you signed up that you told me to do it like that, I'll do it like that. Oh, okay, I guess we'll do it your way. So the big thing about Boyer Boys is our expertise, what we know, not only what we do, but what we know. And I say some jobs we'll walk away from because we're not allowed to do it right. So Boyer Boys, home maintenance and repair, we fix your home. If you have a honeydew list, we get it done.
Norm, thank you very much. It's great to hear those words. Steve, over to you, sir. What's going on over there?
Well, I played the Kentville Fest last night with
Oh,
my band.
right.
That kind of eclipsed a few things, but that's now out of the way, and it's back to work. So I basically am a web developer and a designer. By Media Design is my company, and when I'm not playing music, I am designing and helping people with their websites. And so, uh, anyone who wants to get um, basically a makeover on a website or have more people see the website, there's a lot of ways that that can be done. And just have a band with me, and I'll explain all of that to them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Steve. And over to Penny Lee. Can you hear us? Okay. Yeah,
Still
you're on mute, just so you know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just had a train go by, so it's a good timing. It's gone.
All right.
Anyways, yeah, so unfortunately I can't stay for the whole meeting. I'm at work, but figured I'd pop on and at least show my support and presence for the members.
Okay.
So Penny Lee Prebo, the dancing motivator. I'm also the co-founder of the Graduate Thrivers. And today I wanted to talk about a ceremony that I did this weekend. It was a tree planting in honor of my sister-in-law. And I toyed with the idea of possibly doing one of the songs from our NIA practice. And I asked my students last week if they thought I should do something with that. And one of the songs that they chose was Grateful, which of course, Tony, I was at the event with Cindy Little and you last week and did that song. And I got so many positive feedback, so much positive feedback. I thought, you know what? Even though it's a memorial, it is a celebration of somebody's life. And so I decided to do the Grateful song at the end of the ceremony, the memorial ceremony. And I was just honored to see that all of my family members were doing the movements, the arm movements to the Grateful song. And what was most important to me was that at the end, my sister-in-law's mother came up to me and she said, you know, she was very grateful that I did that because it reminded her of how joyful my sister-in-law was and how she always made everything fun. And it helped people let go of their emotions that they were hanging on to, their sadness for my sister-in-law's passing. So I just wanted to remind you that if you know anybody that is sad or grieving, I would love an opportunity for them to come and experience a class with me, because when we do NIA, it is way more than just movement. It is really an opportunity to move the emotions through your body and let go and release tension and increase your happiness hormones. So I just wanted to remind you that movement is medicine. I offer Zoom classes, so you can join me from anywhere, anytime. And I also have recordings available. So there's lots of opportunity to be able to help heal, whether the body or the mind. Movement is medicine.
Thank you very much, Penny Lee. Yeah, great. And Susan Ebbs, over to you.
Thank you very much, Tony. I represent a company that's called Melaleuca.com. And too many times I'm hearing now of people getting sick with things like asthma, other health ailments because of the chemicals that we're using in our homes. Our cleaning products are riddled with chemicals, and there's so many incidents of children having ADHD, childhood diabetes. So we are trying to get the toxins out of the home and help to minimize the amount of toxins that you do have in your home. I know through COVID, we had this fantastic product called Clear Defense, and it gets rid of 99.9% of germs. It was actually recommended to help against COVID. And it comes in a healthy, handy little purse size thing or gym bag size, so that you go to the washroom and there's no hand towels. Well, you can just wipe yourself with a Clear Defense. It dries it's very quickly. It doesn't cause all of the rash and dryness in your hands. It was very moist. It's got aloe vera in it. So we help people to improve their health, getting rid of the toxins. Susan Ebbs from melaleuca.com. Do you want the BAMs that I
Yes,
had?
please. Yeah, because I haven't seen you for a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
I actually was collecting them while I was gone.
Good.
I had a quick BAM with Terry Black to find out what exactly she's doing nowadays, and we're going to connect up later and explore what my options might be working with her. I had a quick BAM with Kremina Petrova, the flower lady.
Yep.
I'm sure at some point everybody's going to need her services.
Oh, yeah.
And Marlon and I have been talking back and forth. He had some stains on some of his chairs. And so after our last meeting in person there, he asked about what he could do to get those stains off. So we've been working together with that. And of course, ongoing business with Wendy Chung and Penny Lee.
Okay, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, Marlon's a very good person to know and to be able to keep associating with. That's great. Susan McGarry, over to you, girl.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see everyone again. It's been a minute, a long minute. My name is Susan McGarry. I'm with a company called Pure Trim. One of the things that the president and CEO did in Arizona is he purchased every single bar in North America. Why? Because he wanted to make the best. Now, what you're going to find out is there are no meal replacement bars out there. There are snack bars, but a lot of them have fillers, things that aren't healthy for you. These are high fiber, low sugar. They come in chocolate, double chocolate, and peanut butter. And what I love about them is they are a meal replacement. So instead of going through the drive-through at Tim Hortons or grabbing something at a fast food joint, which have really doubled their prices, for $34.95, you can have a box of 5 of these. But like Tony says, don't leave them in the car in a hot spot because they will melt. I did a vendor show last Friday and they all melted on my table. So I learned my lesson. Keep it in a cool place if you do end up purchasing them. So if there's anyone you know and care about that's looking for convenience, something delicious, something healthy, and something filling, make sure you reach out to me. Thanks, Susan with Pure Trim.
Thank you, Susan. I find it really helpful on a motorcycle because you don't always want to stop, so you need something just quick on the way. So, yeah, they're great. And over to Mike. How's it going, Mike? What's shaking? How was your holiday?
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. So it's Mike from MW Motivational Coaching. So as a professional coach, I have created ironclad coaching approaches, basically based on scientific principles to educate individuals and have them surpass basically the understanding of they have of themselves. So what does that really mean? Well, in my world of my contacts, friends, and clients, the biggest challenge is escalating anxiety. Through my proven coaching approaches, I'm able to support and guide these individuals to turn their anxiety into adrenaline. So a good referral are individuals that are always taking a half step in their life instead of taking a full stride. So Mike from MW Motivational, long life to all and the good sense to live it.
Yay, Mike. Just out of curiosity, do you do children? Do you work with children?
No.
No. Okay. So you start at what, 18 or up?
Yeah, I have a good series, good rapport with university students And
Okay.
even as young as high school students going into university, that transition in their life where it's a lot of unknown. So it's that would be the youngest.
Okay, okay. I was just working on a program, and they had some kids involved, and I was wondering. Okay, thank you,
Mhm.
Mike, for that clarity. See, that's part of it doing a BAM, knowing what people don't do as well. So that's great. Hi, everybody. Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. I'm a medium, clairvoyant, and I use those skills and those gifts as a way to be able to get in touch with our businesses, get in touch with our personal life, because they are one of the same. When you are connected, when you are happy, when you are up, so is your business. It's interesting how that works. I've never seen a person that's really down, depressed, out of touch with things, and their business is prospering. They go together. When someone feels like they can kick the ceiling, their sales are usually always there. They're always up. They're always happy. They're always doing things. And it's a funny thing. They're going through the same problems, the same challenges, and the same obstacles as we all are doing. But the reaction is different. Mike would probably say that if a person is really balanced, they would have the ability to be able to react in an intelligent way, and to be able to do it so that everything's not a knee-jerk reaction. There's always a way to think, and a way, and that's all about energy. Every Friday at 1:30, I do a free meditation class, and in that hour, we talk a little bit about every different topics. Over the last 3 weeks, we're going to be going into part 3 this Friday about mind chatter. This is the monkey brain that says that you can't do something, that you're fearful, that you're not tall enough, you're not good enough, you're the wrong gender, you're the wrong whatever, in everything, and it actually talks you out of the dreams that you want. We figured that we are painting ourselves into a corner or putting ourselves in a box, and that's where the mind chatter comes from. Your mind is trying to help you, believe it or not, when you get these chatter, but it just doesn't stop talking. When something is very short and very soft, and that's usually coming from intuition, and that's what we need to follow. We need to follow our heart, yeah, and it always goes to the most vulnerable part of us, because we're afraid to be, let's say, public speaking. We're afraid to be doing and getting out there. But if that's your lot in life, instead of always resisting it, find people like Mike and like Penny Lee to be able to look at those things in a different way so that you're of service. It's not just you. I remember a very, very talented lady. I wanted to take one of her courses in a healing profession, and it was a very different way to heal. And she felt so self-conscious and really didn't think she knew much, like her esteem was down. And I kept saying, as soon as you got this course, I will take it. I'll be the first one to enroll. And then she had passed away because of a certain illness. And I can only imagine what I lost in that experience, because she was shy and didn't want to sort of exude herself. So there's that. So if you have something, mind chatter, if you want to know more about it, come into the class. If you can't make it, let me know, and I'll send you a recording. We record every one of my shows, and I'll be happy to share it with you. Okay, Tony Jennis from Higher Self. We are here to raise your spirits. Every week, we give one of our members more of an opportunity to talk about their business, to talk about their industry, than in about a 1-minute segment or so. And this week, we're featuring Eric Perron. He's our real estate expert for this group. And I'm sure a lot of things have changed. Mortgages, houses, the way buyers think. And I just heard of something the other day where somebody had a water softener, a furnace, an air conditioner, everything on rental. And when they were going to sell the property, there's $33,000 worth of buyouts, and they didn't want to pay. So it was an interesting way that you could lose a sale by not having the right advice of no, just buy it out, because you might have to buy it out anyway at 3 times the price. Or I'm sure there's different stories that Eric would be able to relay. So Eric, go ahead, take it away, sir.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Eric Perron, your real estate advisor with England Volkers. So, on that note, Tony, interesting that you say that. So, I started doing something years ago, and it was not common. I think it's starting to be. So, what I did is I had a deal where I was on the buyer's side, and I put in that in the chattel section, your fridge, your stove, your all that other kind of stuff is included. But I also put in the furnace is included, the air conditioner is included, and usually hot water is rented. So I knew that that was in the rental section. Having said that, we did the deal, everything was great. Believe it or not, the seller was represented by one of the online brokerages. I'm not going to say anything bad about anything. So what happened is their agent was sitting in an office in Toronto, had never seen the house, had never met the sellers, didn't know anything about the house whatsoever. Obviously could not value the house in any way, shape, or form. So we do the deal, everything is great. 3-4 weeks later, I get a call from Toronto. Meanwhile, the deal is happening out in where was it? Just outside Hawkesbury. So it's like, oh, we have to do an amendment. Oh, what's the amendment for? Oh, it's for the furnace and the AC. I'm like, oh, why is there an amendment for that? Oh, well, because they're rentals, so we'll have to switch the deal. And I said, oh no, your seller's already signed off that it's part of the deal. And so the seller was like, well, no, but it's a rental, and he didn't understand or he didn't know. I said, well, you should have asked the question as your realtor representing your seller. So I said, unfortunately, it is in the deal. If you want to get lawyers involved, that's fine, but your seller is going to have to pay off the rental contract, whatever that totals up to. And if you haven't seen those rental contracts, a $5,000 furnace will usually cost you between $10,000 and $15,000 for the buyout. It's ridiculous. So anyway, so I always to this day put in the furnace is included. Although everybody's like, oh, no, don't worry, it's owned. And it doesn't matter. If it's owned, it's in the contract for me. If the AC is owned, it's in the contract for me. If your water boiler is owned, and that is a system that is used for the heat of your radiators or your whatever, then it is part of the system. I want everything to be in that contract. That contract is not a loosey-goosey, I'm buying your house. It's a real contract. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of loosey-goosey kind of contracts that have been made up in the past, and it's just not worth it. I actually had a friend of mine just this weekend who said, you know, Eric, we bought a house from a friend, and we realized how much a realtor is worth it. We should have actually used a realtor, even just buying and selling a home between friends. So anyway, that's enough said. You kind of gave me the intro. So that took up a bit of my time. So what I want to do is really quickly share with you a few screens. And as you know, if you have any questions, just raise your hands, let me know what they are, etc. So what I'm going to do here is give you an idea. You should see the share right now, right? You guys
Yes.
see the share? Okay, good.
Yep,
So
it's all good.
what are we doing? I'm going to show you in diagram because so sales activity, June year to date. So we're seeing all the way back down to 2015. So sales activity, we're just slightly above what we were in 2015. We're below 2016, below 17, below 18, below 19, just over 2020. We're below 21, below 22, below, and just above 23. So it gives you an idea of a realism of what have we faced, not only through COVID, but what have we faced in real estate beforehand? So sales activity is not all that fantastic right now. And we'll talk about why in a second. New listings. So these are the listings that are hitting the market that are new in the month of June. You can see here in 2020, that was when it was pretty much the lowest at this point. But we're kind of faring below the average at this point. Months of inventory. So what that means is how many months a house goes to market and how long does it take before the new inventory that hits the market actually gets sold and what we would say absorbed by the market. So currently we're sitting at a 2.4 months. You can see here during COVID, it would take like, 0.7 of a month or 1 month or 0.9 of a month. But so we are reaching a balanced month. A balanced month is usually between 2 months and 4 months. You're starting to get into that balanced equation where buyers and sellers, not one side has more or less power. Sales activity, you can see once again, we already went through that one. All right, so that's that one. So I'm gonna get out of that. What's the next share? The next share I wanted to do is what is a realtor doing in the background? So I wanted to go, actually, no, it's perfect. Let's go to this one. So I wanted to show you a home. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So here you should be seeing 104 Roslyn. That's a house that I sold back in 2016. I wanted to make it far back so that it wasn't too present. And this home here, what I'm doing now is if I was going back to this house as a listing agent and they were interviewing, 3 or 4 listing agents saying, well, what is my price? What is the home of my price today? What we can do now is we have this tool called the HPI, and this is from CMHC data. It takes into account both MLS information as well as private sales. So when a title changes, it can be done on a private side between lawyers, or it can be done on MLS. So what I do here is I type in the area. So in this particular case, it's 7301 Meadowlands St. Clair Gardens area. It's a 2-story detached single-family home. The sale occurred June of 2016, and the sale price was $629,000. Based on HPI trends for all of this, previous selling price is $629,000 June of 26. The estimated price June to 2024 would be $1,123,000. So that is like that benchmark price. And so what you do from that point on is you say, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but have they done any renovations, or have there been any damage to the house? Has it stayed? So if it stayed the way it is with no changes, nothing at all, chances are it'd be probably close to $1.123 million. Then what we have to do is make a proper assessment of what is currently happening in that specific market of Meadowlands and St. Clair Gardens. That market there, believe it or not, especially in a market like today, is going to be different than the market in Stittsville or in Orleans. During COVID, everybody's used to COVID, and we're still in that COVID bubble of real estate. What happens there is that the whole city was just ballooning and there was no rhyme or reason for pricing, but there is now. So what I wanted to do is show you that, and then I'm going to show you something else here. So the new share is, where are we at? Okay, so yeah, so then what we're going to do, should be able to see that now. I don't know how much you can see here, sometimes sharing, but basically this is my spreadsheet, and you should be able to see a spreadsheet right now. And this is a spreadsheet, for example, that I used not that long ago. I don't have any of the personal information here. I've taken that out. But basically what you can do is you can see distance to the subject. The first comp was 0.9 kilometers away. Comp 2 was 3.5 kilometers away. Comp 3 was 0.5 kilometers away. This is more or less in the city. So what I did is I said, okay, we have a purchase price in April of 2012 of $393. I used my HPI, and I showed them what the HPI numbers would be. Then I said, okay, here are the dates of the sales that we're comparing them to. Here are the sale prices. This one sold for $950. This one sold for $1,010,000. This one sold for $790. And so here's the listed price, by the way. The listed price was just above it. So you can see here, for example, it sold for $110,000 less. So then what we do is I wanted to just show you the backgrounds of what we do. Everybody sees social media and says, hey, list with me. Yeah, I'm going to sell your house. But there's so much more to do in the background if you do it properly. So what I'm doing here is I'm comparing things like your bathrooms, your basements, your garage, your interior condition, your exterior condition, your windows, your roof shingles. Here I'm putting down the years, approximate number of value of what those years are potentially worth. Because some buyers will go into a house and they'll say, well, all the windows have to be redone, so that's $30,000 right off the bat. Well, that's true, but should the seller be responsible for paying for brand new windows day one for you to enjoy for the next 30 years? Maybe not. So that's up to the buyer and the seller to decide. But I think that a buyer should say, okay, well, listen, your windows are in repair. There's a percentage of that I think the seller should be responsible for. And yes, I'll go ahead and I'll pay for the rest. So there's plus or minuses. What kind of a fireplace do you have? Do you have central air? What the heat fuel is? For example, this one is propane, but you might have a house that on this case, for example, is a geothermal system. Well, that might be worth an extra $10,000 to $15,000. So exclusions, what is excluded? And then in the end, this blue box shows me that based on the house that I am presenting to, they could potentially get about 763,000 or 767. Here, the house might be worth 764, and here in this example, the house might be worth 834. So what does that do? That gives us a range of where buyers might look at your property. So buyers, if they're doing the same homework with their realtor, which they should be doing, they're going to come around and say, well, this house to me, right? It's in the eye of the beholder, eye of the buyer, is going to be worth somewhere between 760 and 850. So what does this tell us? This tells us that if we have a fast market, we can probably list closer to 850 because we know there's a high demand and buyers are buying. If we have a very slow market and we want to sell it relatively quickly, we have to be on the lower end of this band as well. So if we listed it at 760, chances are we'd get quite a few buyers in here. If we list it somewhere in the middle, we know that we're going to get some buyers trickling in on a weekly basis. They're going to hem and haw about it. They're going to look at it. So that middle number is probably going to be closer to that 2.4 months of inventory that I mentioned before. All right, so that's one thing that we do. And the next thing we do, we get the listing. The person says, yes, Eric, you are it. We're gonna hire you. What I do on a weekly basis is I will go through how many showings have been booked today, how many showings were in the last 30 days, how many showings were in the last 7 days. That gives us an idea of what is the trend of showings that we are getting. The trend usually is you get a ton load of showings in the first week and then it drops off. So what you need to do is make that house as attractive as at all possible, get the buyers in on that first week. That's when they're the most excited about your home. They may not purchase your home in these days because buyers are taking a long time, but they'll have seen your house. And then I'll show you how we present that really quickly. Feedback, what was the feedback that we got? Was the client interested? Did it show as expected? Was the opinion on price good? MLS statistics. So I'm going to show you how many clients in MLS received an email automated from their automated portal that they've set up with their realtor. How many realtors published your listing to their clients? How many realtors rejected it? How many realtors viewed it? Then I go to realtor.ca, that's the public. And now how many on realtor.ca, how many clicks did we get through on all of these different things? And then what I'm going to do is show you on social media what we have. So how many YouTube clicks did you get if we did a video? How many views did you get? How many Facebook interactions? How many engagements? How many Instagram reaches? So what I take is all of the Instagram and social media stuff that I've got. I'll show you exactly what it is that we're doing. All right, one last thing, I think. Where are we here?
Yeah, Eric, we still see. Oh, okay. Yeah, we still see your comparable form there. We didn't see the
Oh
the
man, should have told
social
me.
media thing
All
that I
right.
think you're talking about. So
Okay, well, I'm going to show you that really quickly then, because oh, okay, you know what it is I have to every time, even if I'm within numbers, I have to click and share the numbers. So I don't even know how that works. If you want to click a different tab in the same software, maybe I have to unclick and then go back in.
I think
Oh,
you
there
have to
it is.
unclick the
There it
form
is.
first. Yeah,
There it is. Here's the form.
there we go. There we
So
go.
I'm going to
Yeah.
spend 10 seconds on here, have a look, but there's everything I just talked about. It's all listed there, and it's all done on a weekly basis. So every Tuesday at noon, I'm going to send this off to my seller, good or bad. I'm here to share whatever I'm doing for my clients, and the clients need to know what exactly it is that I'm doing for them. All right, so then I'm going to go into my Finder here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you should be able to see that. All right, how do we present the property? So what I want to show you is this is a property I just put up this week. Here's a 1-bedroom condo. Looks empty, looks boring, looks whatever. And then this is what it looks like when it's been virtually staged. Can you see the virtually staged picture?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully you can see that enough. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this, and let's say, hang on, where's the thing?
That's pretty cool. You can see
Yeah, you can still see it, right? You can still see it in big now.
Yep.
Okay, so there it is empty. There it is virtually staged. You got to do this to give people an idea of what it is that they're buying. Here's another bedroom, and then here's what it looks like virtually staged. Like that's real time sizing as well, right? Like we're not using different sizes. What they do is they get the laser dimension of the room in this particular case, and they figure it out. What's the size of a queen size bed? What's the size of this, and that? What I also want to reflect to you is look at the windows. The windows, what the photographer I use takes 3 pictures so that you as a human eye can see outside. If you didn't do that with a regular camera, that outside would be a completely white window. You wouldn't be able to see outside. So my photographer takes that kind of extra little bit of detail. So yeah, so there's the bedroom, empty with a bed. Here's another bedroom. That's what it looks like staged. I don't know if I have it. So okay, here's another one that's empty. And then boom, look at that. Now that's, so when you're presenting, now you have to say that it's been virtually staged, but what a presentation difference online. Like you have to do these things. If
Yeah.
you're not doing this, and this is easily $50 a picture to get that professionally done. So, you know, you do 3, 4, 5 of them, it starts adding up. The last one I wanted to show you then is, where are we?
Yeah, I see so many pictures that are just empty rooms where you have
Exactly,
to
right? That's the
yeah.
last thing on earth you want.
have already moved out or something.
Where on earth is my, oh, Safari? Yeah, okay, that's I think what I need. Last one. You should be able to see this. So that's you should be able to see a postcard that I did. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So that's the new to market postcard that I made in Canva. So what's important here to see is bottom right, you see this is an aerial shot. So we did a video, an aerial drone video, and a walkability video of the neighborhood of Country Place. So neighborhood I used to live in, which is great. So obviously, you know, pride and whatever. But what I did is here then we took still shots of the property so that people could properly see what is this property looking like from above. I'm about to do that again today. Then what we did is up in the top right, this is all natural photography. This is not make-believe, Photoshop, whatever. So what I did is I had the photographer come in, do a whole bunch of photography of the house, also do a whole bunch of video of the home. But then what we did is we got the same company to have one of their skilled photographers come in and do the dusk photography. So on the left here, you can see the house is like a resort. So I have to present it like a resort. I can't just take a picture and say, hey, imagine what this would look like at night when the lights are on in the pool and all that kind of stuff. So this is the dusk photography that's going to show you exactly what that property looks like in the evening with real lights, not fake lights. This is the real lighting from the pool, not fake. And so that is just the postcard. Now I have, I don't know, 15 different dusk photography photos that I used for marketing for this particular property. This postcard is not about me. This is not about saying, hey, look what Eric is doing. It's about the house. So I presented about the house. This is for the owner to sell his house better. So it says new to market. And then here it doesn't say, hey, if you'd like to list your house as well, you know what? Come and see me. This is all of the verbiage about the house. Do you want to see the video? Here's the QR code. You want to see Eric's website? Here's the QR code. The next one that I do after this is once I've sold it, then yes, it's about me and it's about Eric Perron's marketing. But when I'm selling your house, I'm not selling myself to the rest of them and using your house as my platform. I'm using your house to sell your house and your house only. So that's pretty much my presentation, gang. So if you have any questions, right now the market is full of questions. And so it's going to be a very tough time going forward. A lot of people are looking at selling their homes as of default, unfortunately, because they cannot make their payments. Yeah, Mike, I'll get to you in a second there. And so, you know, we really need to be here on the consultative side, on the helpful side, and really make sure that we're providing as much information as possible. I know that when the mortgage rates were really low, I kept being a huge proponent of lock in for as long as you possibly can. And if you're in the 2% range, lock in all you can. And people are like, no, variable's amazing. It's been going down for 20 years. Guess what? A lot of those people can't afford their homes anymore. So come and ask me questions. I'm going to give you the advice that I think is extremely truthful. Sometimes you're going to like my advice, sometimes you won't, but I bet you in 6 months to a year, you're going to look back and say, you know what? That should have been information that I used on. Mike, go ahead, shoot.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Great presentation. Lots of cool formulas, a lot of work involved. My question is, I think it's time again in the real estate world that a lot of people, buyers are asking to bring in home inspectors. And when it comes to home inspections, there's a plethora of them out there. There's some that are really good, honest, right to the thing, and then there's some that embellish. So if you're a seller and let's say the buyer comes in and says, well, you know what, I did a home inspection and it needs everything, right? How do you combat that?
Love the question, man. Love it, Mike. All right. What you're going to combat that with is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, before we sell your house, you should, with my advice, at your cost, not my cost, get a home inspection. Here's all of my home inspectors. What you're going to do is you're going to get what's called a pre-listing home check. And so the home inspector will go in and tell you everything that's wrong with your house. Based on that, it's going to be there for a couple of reasons. One, you're going to know if you have any deficiencies that are, let's say, structural engineering or whatever. And if that's the case, we may not have to list your home right away. We may do the work that's necessary, get the invoices, the receipts, the permits, the whatevers before we list your house. How dare we put it to listing and then say, oh my God, we got to reduce it by 100 grand because we found this, or that. What you're also going to do is the home inspector, chances are, is going to say, and I know Norm is going to say this, all of your lights usually have to be recaulked. Outdoor windows usually need to be recaulked. And no, but every single home inspection has, oh, the exterior lights need to be caulked. Well, you buy the exterior lights from Home Depot or from Costco and you install them yourself, chances are you didn't put caulking around it. So there's always those kind of items that need to get done. So it's really nice if you can get those items done. Home inspector is going to check your electrical line as well, and he's going to know everything that's going on. So where does that bring me to, Mike? What it brings me to is when that buyer, and I just went through this just so you know with the seller, when that buyer comes to with their home inspection and says, oh, well, my home inspector found this, this, and that, and we want $15,000 off. Say, oh, that's interesting because we had our house inspected as well. And he said that would be, well, I'll give you a perfect example. In my first year, I had a foundation and they came to us with a $5,000 foundation repair. I said, oh, that's interesting because I called the crack people and they said to me they can do it for $600. So we can reduce by $1,000 if you like, just for the hassle. Or we can do it for $600 and keep the home price the same. Oh, we'll take the $1,000. And my seller knew that already. So what you need to do is make sure that and that's what I was going to before too. I am a realtor who's going to give you a lot of information. And I always say this, I said, you may hate me for some of this information, but you're going to love me afterwards because you're going to know the information. It's like everything you always say, only in power comes, a position of power in negotiation comes from a position of knowledge. So you better have all of the possible knowledge that's out there. So get your home inspection done as a seller. You'll combat absolutely everything that happens when the buyer comes to you and says, oh, well, this is wrong and that's wrong and this is wrong. You say, oh, yeah, well, you know what? I can fix that for $10. Would you like to fix it, or should I do that beforehand and send you the Home Depot invoice that cost me $2? That's it. Really great ways of doing it. Same thing I say to my sellers as well is make sure you have all of your invoices. You did a renovation, I want to see the permits. We're going to put a guarantee on MLS. I want to see the paperwork. Grab all of your paperwork. You've got 3, 4, 5 weeks to do it. Put it in a binder. I want that binder to be on the kitchen counter so that when the buyer home inspector comes, if they have any questions, they're quickly going to go through it. Why do we do that? The mentality of a buyer is when they walk away from your home inspection with questions and like, geez, so if a home inspector is there and says, oh, there's a crack in the basement. Oh, yeah, here's the estimate. They said, whatever, Manatic Foundation said they could do the resin, the polyurethane crack for $1,000. It's already here. Oh, and I see here that they've already ordered it. Great. Now the buyer walks away from that home inspection going, huh, whole bunch of things came up, but I feel better about it. Where do you want to be? You're selling a house. I'm not selling a used car. And I'll tell you the example. I went to Toyota years back to buy a used car for my ex-wife. It was so dirty. And they're like, oh, well, we'll clean it before you get delivery of it. I'm like, I don't ever want to come back here, man. This thing is disgusting. Why would I do that with a house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Norm.
We're just at the top of the hour. Okay, yeah, Norm, if you're going to ask a question, if you can make it quick, we're just going to.
I got a referral from a home inspector. I referred to it in my infomercial. There's major damage to that house. He missed it. Right? They think it's just, I got to replace the trim, inside and outside trim. There's dry rot in there, and I don't know. Several $100s, tens of thousands of dollars. It's a purchaser, too bad, so sad.
Yep. The home inspector missed it. I just did a home inspection just so you have an idea of it. And we asked for a $25,000 reduction because of the deck. We settled on whatever, I won't say. But my home inspector had a screwdriver and jammed it into the wood to show what the rot was. So, you know, every home inspector is what they are. I mean, the screwdriver went in by that much. And we were just saying, look, everything is rotted. Whether we're putting the screwdriver in or not, it's rotted. That is going to have to be replaced sooner or later within the next year or two. So,
well, the deck is visible. You can see this, but this is like the corner of the drywall is bubbled. The paint's all bubbled. So that, and it's water's still coming in.
Well, if it's visible, a home inspector should see it and have pictures of it. If it's not visible, then yes, a home inspector is not responsible for that, right?
The problem is what's behind the wall. I know there's something behind the wall.
Yeah, but you're seeing the bubbling on the outside. So if there's
On the
bubbling on the
inside.
outside,
It's on the inside.
well, like I
drywall-
said, if it's on the outside of the wall, I don't care if it's outside or inside, sunshine or indoors. But if there's a wall with bubbles on it, that's an indication that there's something to inspect. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But an inspector can't say, you know, can't look at a perfectly good drywall wall and then know that there's something else in the background. But, you know, the thing is a perfectly good home inspector, Mike, is going to have a thermal gun and they're going to be able to see whether the cold and the hot spots are. A good home inspector is going to have a little moisture reader. They're going to plug it into potentially a basement baseboard and see, is there any moisture in this baseboard? Like those are things that a home inspector should do. I've got a home inspector that has a drone. So if it's a 3-story building, he takes the drone up, takes pictures and video of all the flashing and all of the roof. So, you know, it is what it is.
Okay. Eric, thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks
your
for the time,
knowledge.
everybody.
Really
Hey,
good.
I just want to put a plug in for Eric because I'm a very happy client of Eric's, as you all know, and so he's helped me not only with you know, buying and selling property, a house, but also with rentals. So he's amazing, and all the stuff he was saying today, I can vouch for the fact that he does all of those things and with great aplomb. So yeah, and a great presentation.
Well, we can see your nice house in the background.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful home. Not
Yeah.
kidding. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is great. Eric, thank you very much again. Schedule a BAM with Eric. I'm sure he would have a lot to say, and he loves to go to like little cafes or restaurants, or he'll meet you at your
food and I love lunch,
walk.
so hit me up.
He likes caviar.
So thank you very much again. And just to close off, the quote for today is, "To find meaning, introduce play to your work. But to find happiness, eliminate work to your play." Have yourself a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Okay, Mike?
Thanks, Eric. Take care, everyone.
Cheers,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
And,
Great presentation.
Steve, I need a
Thanks.
minute.
It was good to